Hello and welcome to Legacy IS Academy. So in today's video, we are going to discuss about CAMPA fund. Why are we discussing about it? Is because in Delhi recently, in the southern edge of the Delhi ridge, which is an extension of Aravallis itself, for the construction of road, almost 11 kilometers of deforestation has been carried out. Okay? So, Supreme Court has recently directed the Forest Survey of India to carry out the survey of what was the need for such a large scale deforestation. Okay? Apart from this, Supreme Court has also said to the Delhi Development Authority that for every tree that has been deforested, for every tree that has been removed, you need to plant 100 trees as penalty. Plant 100 trees for every tree that has been removed. Supreme Court has serious objections because the felling of the trees began before the permission from Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change itself. Okay? Now, let us first understand why are we discussing about CAMPA in this case? What is the relation of this? So, CAMPA specifically says that if you are building up any greenfield project, okay? So, for a greenfield project, there is nothing on ground and you are building everything from scratch. So, for that you need to carry out deforestation. So, for all such deforestations that you are doing, you need to identify another piece of deforested land. Okay? It should be either deforested land or degraded land in the ratio of 1:1 in case of a deforested land. So, for example, you have carried out deforestation in this piece of land and you have identified another piece of land. This land is deforested. So, how much ever land you have deforested, you need to identify equivalent amount of land in case of deforested land. Or if it is degraded matlab it has forest cover but less forest cover, then you need to identify in the ratio of 1:2. Matlab you have deforested one piece of land and double that amount of land you need to identify. You need to identify these lands and hand it over to the state government. That is one thing. Plus, you also need to give the funds. So, whatever with this forest ka value in terms of money, the monetary value of this forest, this you need to calculate and hand over this much amount to the state government or to the central government, to the CAMPA fund. You need to hand over this amount to the CAMPA fund. Okay? All of this CAMPA fund ka money will first go to the central government. Central government will later on disperse it to the state government. They will be later dispersing it to the state government. All of it will take place only if you are diverting a forest land for non-forest use. Okay? So, this is about the Compensatory Afforestation Act in India. Okay? Plus, you also need to ensure that the land you are identifying should be as close as possible to the land which has been deforested, because this deforestation will have some kind of ecological impact, and because of this ecological impact, you need to identify another piece of land which is very close to this so that this ecological impact can be reduced. That is one thing. Plus, all of this has got legal backing from the CAMPA Act. So, we already have a CAMPA Act under which all of these have been mentioned. So, any of the steps not carried out, Supreme Court or judiciary will come into picture. Okay? Now, let us discuss about the process of compensatory afforestation. So, step by step, what steps do we follow to carry out compensatory afforestation? Let us understand this. First, let us say I am an industrialist and I want to set up a industry of, let us say, leather. Okay? So, for this, first of all, I need to seek approval from Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change under the Forest Conservation Act of 1980. Under the Forest Conservation Act of 1980, I will be writing an application to Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change and ask them that do I have the permission of carrying out deforestation in this piece of land. Plus, I also need to give the details of the land and the purpose with which I am transforming this forest land to non-forest use. So, I need to write to the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change that I am going to use this piece of land for setting up a leather factory. Okay? So, that is my purpose. Plus, I also need to give the details of the land. This is the land, this much amount, this much length, this much breadth I have identified for my use. Okay? Step 2 we need to submit a compensatory afforestation plan. I, as an industrialist, my company will have to set up or submit a compensatory afforestation plan. Okay? and identification of non-forest or degraded forest land. So first of all, you remember ki if it is a non-forested land, तो 1:1 के ratio में whatever is the deforested piece of land, equivalent amount of land I need to identify. This is non-forest के condition में. But if it is a degraded forest land, double of whatever I have deforested, इसका double I need to identify and submit the compensatory afforestation plan for that piece of land. ठीक है. Step 3 में this plan should be approved by the Forest Advisory Committee. Once they approve this, then I will be giving the financial contribution. So I don't need to carry out afforestation. I need to submit the money to the government, to the CAMPA fund. So financial contribution to the CAMPA fund on the basis of net present value can be calculated, and that amount I need to submit. ठीक है. Step 4 में state government must carry out the afforestation drive. So finally, this is how afforestation is to be carried out using the money from the CAMPA fund. ठीक है. But we also need to remember this fact that the funds cannot be used for administrative tasks of the CAMPA. So to carry out, let's say, paperwork, appointment, inspection, all of this के लिए you cannot make use of the CAMPA fund. The funds money must be used for only afforestation purposes. For running of CAMPA, the state government needs to allocate money separately. ठीक है. So that is the process of compensatory or afforestation. Now, what are the challenges in implementing the CAMPA Act or CAMPA fund? So first is the Forest Conservation Act of 2023. Forest Conservation Act of 2023 has said that small patches or group of trees shall not be called as forest, and that can be removed, that can be deforested. So it is talking about exclusion of some of the forest types from the protection of this piece of land में if you are carrying out deforestation, then you don't need to carry out CAMPA का net present value का fund transfer, identification of land, nothing is required, because we are not calling this as a piece of forest land itself under the Forest Conservation Act of 2023. Second problem is greenwashing. So in greenwashing, the CAMPA Act, remember, it says if you are using a forested land for a non-forest purpose, all of this drama we need to do. One, identification of land for 1:1, calculation of NPV, giving the funds to the state, to the CAMPA fund. Okay? But only if we are converting a forest land to for a non-forest use. Okay? Non-forest use. But what if I am somehow able to prove that this is not the non-forest use? This is basically for the development of environment only. This is for the betterment of environment only that I am setting up this industry. Okay? So this is known as greenwashing. Greenwashing basically means I am projecting that my project is actually, or this industry or this product is actually environment friendly, wherein it is actually not. Okay? Third problem in challenges is the availability of land. Okay? So first of all, the industrialists are not able to identify a piece of land in a local area. They are not getting it. So there is lack of availability of land. So no compensation for local ecological loss, because let's say you have deforested a piece of land in Goa, okay, and identified a piece of land in Karnataka. Okay? So no compensation for local ecological loss, because you have carried out deforestation in Goa and it will impact the local ecology, and you are identifying the piece of land in Karnataka, so there will be no compensation to Goa. Okay? Plus unavailability of local land for planting of trees, that is the problem here. Okay? Another big challenge is the quality of afforestation. The afforestation drive that industrialists mostly are carrying out is monoculture. It is monoculture. So only one single type of tree is planted in across the afforestation is to be done by the state government, right? So state government is basically carrying out monoculture. So biodiversity in this case gets killed. Biodiversity is severely affected. Plus, afforestation is done mostly on the forested land. It is not even done on the non-forested or degraded forest piece of land. If the state government has been given these are the identified piece of land, which itself, as the CAG report says, the identification of land is not done, plus the funds are also not granted. Okay? Despite of this, when the state government has to carry out afforestation, 70% of the cases we have seen that the afforestation was done on already existing forest land. Okay? Plus funds have also been remaining underutilized. So we have had these funds, 52,000 crores are still kept with the central government, and they have neither disbursed it to the state government nor used it. ठीक है. Plus implementation related challenges, that is relocation of community, which will cause ethnic violence, racial violence, matlab ethnic violence. So because you have deforested a piece of land, so there was a local community which was staying there. Now we need to relocate them to a separate area. Now relocation again will have ethnic conflicts between the new tribes, the new population and the existing population in the identified area, new identified area. So what is the way forward? If all of these is the problem, what should be the suggestive solutions? So first solution is redefining the forest to include small patch of tree groups. So for example, Forest Conservation Act of 2023, which has removed these small patches of trees from the definition of forest, this needs to be rectified. Second problem is afforestation. So afforestation should ensure ecological balance, biodiversity. So in case of Miyawaki also we have observed that Miyawaki is usually a dense afforestation drive. So variety of trees have to be cultivated. But in Miyawaki that has been carried out in some parts of India, what we have observed is non-local trees have been planted in a particular area. So they may not be able to grow up to their capability or may also turn out to be invasive. ठीक है. Third problem is third solution can be involvement of community, because community knows their local area the best. ठीक है. So community involvement can also ensure a long term sustainable solution. Fourth solution is effective fund management. So we need to better utilize the funds. And fifth and final solution can be regular evaluation and reporting, or rather social audit. Society itself should come and keep checking. Time to time they should come and keep checking ki are you able to carry out afforestation, how much is percentage of the funds have been utilized, were you able to identify the piece of land, whether the land category was forested or non-forested or degraded forest piece of land. All of this ke liye social audit can be carried out. ठीक है. So with that we come to the end of the topic of CAMPA. I wish you all the very best. If you have any doubt, please let us know. Thank you so much.